Hello, welcome to You Have My Attention. Today I am flying solo, as they say, so I plan to keep this short and sweet. Since I don't have guests today and it's just me, Ellie, I want to share a few things that have my attention this week. As the days get shorter here in the northern hemisphere, we've been getting less sunlight, and this has kind of led me to think about all the holidays that take place in December, and I kind of have somewhat of a theory that part of the reason there are so many celebrations in the wintertime is to help people get through the winter. Because here in the northern hemisphere, it can be cold and gloomy, and with the days getting shorter, I don't think it's that much of a surprise that there's more emphasis on events that involve family and friends and food. So I'd like to know what other people think about this. It's something that I've been thinking about, and it's also something that I think data could help us figure out. If my hypothesis is true, I'd have to go look into what other holidays take place throughout the year and compare it to the winter time, and then maybe some sort of analysis there could prove whether I'm right or wrong, but that's my suspicion. This kind of brings me to another thing that has my attention: decorations, specifically for Christmas and all that. I'm kind of one of those people that doesn't really like to decorate that much. It's not because I'm a Grinch, but more like I'd rather be the one sweeping up the tinsel and the plastic pine needles that fall off the tree. I kind of say I'm a cross between the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who, in the sense that I enjoy Christmas music. I like wrapping gifts, but I also don't fancy decorating for Christmas for some reason. Maybe it's because I find it overwhelming. I also find Christmas shopping overwhelming. It kind of stresses me out. And I actually find myself pretty relieved when Christmas is over, even though I enjoy it. So that being said, I am one to enjoy the creative ways that people decorate for Christmas. I think it's fun to go see the lights, and I enjoy all that. I enjoy seeing that. But I think me setting it up, not so much. And as I understand it, there are a lot of neighborhoods around the country that host competitions for the best decorations every year. Often some level of prize money available for those that win first, second, and third place. This kind of brings me to an article that I read recently. It kind of provides an inside scoop into the secrets of the Christmas tree trade. I don't know how many people are aware of this, but the whole Christmas tree tradition is actually of German origin. It was brought to the United States by German immigrants. If you want a good Christmas themed story, I suggest you check it out. The author details what it's like to work as the personal assistant of a man that sells Christmas trees in New York. This man that he works for half identifies as Santa Claus, apparently looks like Santa Claus. I had no idea this line of business could be so dangerous and interesting. Author also talks about some of the dangers around having a Christmas tree, which I hadn't even thought about for a long time. Part of the reason as to why Christmas trees used to be kind of more dangerous or more of a fire hazard is that it used to be a tradition to light Christmas trees with candles. These days we use lights, like little chains of lights, which are safer now, especially with the LEDs and modern technology. They've gotten safer, so thank goodness for that. Remember, stop, drop, and roll if you find yourself caught on fire, and know where your fire extinguisher is in your kitchen. Have it at a easily accessible place. It's also come to my attention that it's final exam season for college students around this time of year. I definitely went through this. I experienced many final exams. I assume there are some that already went through this, but for those of you that haven't gone through this yet, for this semester, there were many times that I was afraid of failing, and there were some instances where my performance on a final exam could decide whether I passed or failed the class. Or sometimes it was just a letter grade thing. My best advice to anyone dealing with this right now is this. I would say to prepare the best you can and remember that the grade isn't what's important. What's important is what you learned. I mean, of course, grades affect scholarships and your GPA and all that, but in the end, what's most going to matter is what you learned and how you applied what you experienced and how those experiences impact you in the future and all that. When you're out in the real world, what you got in the final in your chemistry class isn't going to matter as much as you think. It's possible to get an A and learn nothing. So I would just say prepare the best you can and try your best. Pursue progress over perfection. Don't put things off till the last minute. I'm sure that's very obvious, but I myself have found myself making that mistake. I want to share a little procrastination story, something that happened to me in college during undergrad. I was taking a speech class during a particular semester, and it was the class that I most struggled with because speaking in front of others was quite difficult for me. And there was a term paper for this class that was worth, I believe, 30% of the grade. I put it off for as long as I could, and I was not very motivated to get it done. Oddly enough, even as the deadline approached, I was not excited about this term paper. I did not have a good mindset about it. So when it came time for me to submit it, first off, I don't think I put as much effort into that paper as I should have. Like I said, I was not having a good mindset about it. I was not excited about it, and I did not want to do it. So it was very hard for me to get this thing done. I knew it was a requirement for the class, so that was the only thing driving me to getting it done, honestly. But even then, it was definitely not my best work. Unfortunately, because I put this paper off for such a long time, when it was finally time to submit it, I was running out of time and I knew that the deadline was approaching. I finally uploaded it, and the internet was being very slow in that particular moment, which is frustrating because the time was almost up. Not the time you want this to happen. I send it and I don't think about it until the next morning when I get an email from my professor telling me that due to the timestamp being the next day, he will not accept the paper. Because my essay was 1 second late and it was timestamped 12:00 Saturday instead of 11:59 Friday. My professor refused to accept the paper, and he sent me an email that Saturday morning letting me know that he would not accept the paper. I did not even argue. I replied promptly saying, I understand your policy. I didn't even fight it. So I got a 0 on that term paper. And I got a C in the class because even though I did really well in the class and I didn't have issues with any of the other assignments, that term paper was worth more than the final, apparently. So as I mentioned, speech is one of those requirements that I had that I wasn't too excited about. I didn't have a good mindset about it. I didn't allocate enough time for this assignment. So it was all my fault. It's no one's fault except for my own. But yes, I did once get a 0 on an assignment for turning it in 1 second late. Oh no. That's literally the only time that's ever happened to me. I'd never had a professor be so strict on the time, but I understand the lesson he was trying to give me, I suppose. And I didn't fight it. I didn't even get mad. I was like, okay, that's fair. I accepted it. Because I knew it wasn't that deep. I knew that in the end what mattered was that I learned my lesson. And the lesson is, don't procrastinate your term paper that is worth 30% of your grade to the last minute, to the last day, to the last moment. Because there's always a chance something can go wrong. To be fair, if he had actually given me an assignment or a grade for the paper, I don't think I would have done well anyway. But I don't advise anyone else do what I did. Don't do what I did. Don't wait till the last minute. Prepare as best as you can, and try your best and try to have a good mindset about it. Today I was shopping for a graduation card. So today when I was looking at the greeting cards, as they call them, it reminded me of a time when I was shopping for another greeting card, and I put myself in an embarrassing situation. So oftentimes when I'm shopping for greeting cards, I see glitter on them, and as pretty and nice as glitter can be on a greeting card, it can also be a source of annoyance because glitter gets everywhere. So one time my boyfriend and I went to a big box store, and we went to go buy a gift card and a congratulations wedding card. We picked out a gift card, and then we went to go pick a card in the wedding section. And there was this other lady there that was also looking at cards in the wedding section. That section was not very big at my local store. And I just kind of tried my best to look around her to not disturb her. I saw some of the cards, and some of them have glitter. And I commented out loud, I don't like glitter. It leaves a mess. And the lady that was there also looking at cards started laughing. And she turns and she says, as I stand here leaving a trail of glitter. Oh my goodness. That's when I realized she was wearing like a sequin material, and it had glitter on it. So there I was, criticizing glitter right next to someone that was wearing glitter. I was completely unaware that she was wearing glitter. I thought it was just sequins, and I was not thinking. That was very embarrassing. She laughed it off. She was very well-spirited about it, I guess. But yeah, I got myself in trouble that day. By speaking without thinking. One thing that I keep seeing in news headlines lately is about the whole FTX collapse. And I keep reading or seeing headlines of articles about Sam Bankman-Fried, who's also known as SBF, an American entrepreneur, investor, and founder, former CEO of FTX. This does not really have my attention. Well, it kind of does, but I'm not as interested in this whole crypto stuff because I kind of see it as something that is just going to have to get regulated in the future anyway, due to its nature. And if it doesn't, it's going to collapse, which it kind of has. If someone wants to try to change my mind, go ahead, but it's just going to turn into, I think, if it does become something, it's just going to become another average currency. So I'm not that interested in it. It doesn't really have my attention, even though, news is trying to make it have my attention. I just have a feeling that it's just going to collapse and burn, which it kind of has. And everybody that was talking about how you need to get in on this now, it's like, yeah, because it's a scam. Maybe it won't be in the future, but right now it kind of looks like that to me. That's just my opinion right now. If someone wants to change my mind, go ahead. I invite someone to explain why, but I haven't seen any good evidence of it being a good investment. to date for now. At least not an investment that I think is something that I will be interested in. And so with that, I leave you with a few things to think about. Let us know what has your attention this week in the comments below, or DM us on Instagram at YouHaveMyAttention pod. See you next week. Bye.